Hello there, folks, and welcome to episode 4 of the GUB. It has been a month already. How about that, guys?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Longest relationship we've had.
So, as usual, we have Pal Welsh, Old Man Connolly here, and the Kev. Today's topics will be a Macbeth review, a Solace review, and are we doing an Everest review, guys? I think we're giving it 60 seconds.
We'll fit it in.
Yeah, we'll give it a 60-second window and nothing more. And you'll understand why.
And Until Dawn.
And Until Dawn, our first game review of the week.
It's essentially a movie, though.
Actually.
It's essentially a movie.
Yeah, but unlike cliche horror movies, it's good.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
So, to start us off, we are going to discuss Macbeth first before we get riled up and hammer into Solace.
Yeah.
So, starting with Pal Welsh and his opinion. What did you think of Macbeth, Paul?
Phenomenal, I think. And there's a lot of words I could use, but I'll use the Scottish one, even though phenomenal isn't really a Scottish word. No, definitely, it's absolutely fantastic. As a fan of Macbeth, because we were in school, and this was just everything you wanted, really, from a proper Shakespeare adaptation. The Old English, line for line, exactly how it is. All difference, of course, visually, but that's always been the beauty of Shakespeare, is that you can sort of interpret in your own way, I guess. Not the meanings, of course, but the visuals, what's going on.
Sure.
Because it's a play, so you can go crazy. Massive. So yeah, the story of Macbeth, I love it. Throne of Blood by Kieran and Paul was a masterful film I love. This was very different, the way they approached it. So yeah, Macbeth, fantastic. I'll go in more depth, but yes, well recommend it. Go watch it.
Okay. I could easily just say everything Paul said, because I was pretty much in the same boat. It was Old English, so in saying that, it's not going to appeal to probably the mainstream. I know the story of Macbeth. I loved it when I was younger, and this wasn't surprisingly a modern update, which, you know, if you've seen Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet, it was a modern take on it, but I mean, nonetheless, it was very good actually. Gang wars in LA, it just kind of worked. And saying that, you know, to be fairly honest, I didn't understand half the language of this film, but I walked out of it saying it is definitely one of my top 3 of this year. So if that gives you anything to go by in terms of this film, it's definitely one that's just. I mean, the characters wouldn't even need to speak to display what was going on the screen. You understood through their actions and everything, because it did pretty much play exactly like a play in the theatre.
Yeah.
You know, it down to the bone. It was the proper Shakespearean Macbeth, no strings attached. If I had one gripe about the film, the witches didn't have some of their cool lines from the play, and some of the lines were longer. I know they had, if you've read the play, they did have a short scene or two, but you know, they are a big motive behind what happens in the film, and they're literally quite in the background for this. Other than that, I don't care. The scenery was beautiful. Like, I think we could discuss that all day, guys. It was shot in Skye. I don't know if it was shot anywhere else, was it?
Basically just Scotland.
Northumberland?
Yeah, Northumberland as well. But I instantly recognised the locations on Skye, and it was stunning. I was so happy they brought it home to Scotland.
So it's a brilliant advert for Scotland.
Yes, it's beautiful, and the story's timeless. It's Shakespeare, it's timeless. Go watch it if you haven't. Even if you're not a Shakespeare fan, there's just something nice about this film. Well, it's the visuals, the characters, the cast. Just go watch it. That's my recommendation.
Before we get into this, because it's Macbeth, I know it's quite a little concept. Keep going into you.
Kev has been ignored
because everyone sort of knows Macbeth. We're not going to hold back spoilers here.
Yeah,
because it's Macbeth.
You know, it's over 100 years old. So
if you're scared of spoilers, read the play. Don't watch the movie at the end of the play. Read the play.
Read us up, guys.
Read the play and analyse the play. So yeah, Kieran.
I've never seen Macbeth. I've never read Macbeth. I only know it's about a crazy Scottish man, and I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
You said how 10 minutes in... Not 10 minutes.
You've got to speak directly into the mic.
Well, it was picking up. It feels loud in these.
It's not.
Anyway, like you said, you don't really need to have lines. The first 10 minutes don't have lines. It's all just reaction and an awesome battle opening. That.
Watch your arm.
I don't like the
I'm
seat.
hitting his elbow off the desk.
I'm trying it. It's very tight up here.
Can I edit that out?
You're giving me more work.
What?
You're giving me more
Stop
work.
interrupting
Guys,
me.
just go.
Go.
I like the colours, the contrast. I'm not usually one picking up that stuff. The red and blue was nice. I like that. The red and blue, and then the black and white throughout was nice. You've said anything that I can say, so. Actually, the point about the witches, I don't think was such a bad thing, because I think they're going for more grounded. And I think the witches with their whole
Yes, I agree
might
with
have
that.
drawn that out.
I get that. They were one of my favourite parts of the play.
I agree with that. I agree, but I agree with both.
They are like one of the most memorable parts. You know, you say Macbeth, people automatically go, "Oh, toil and trouble, all that jazz."
Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah,
It's one of their famous lines. I mean,
Yeah.
it's adapted and everything.
That
I mean,
escaped my mind,
They
to be
even
honest.
sing it in was it Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban? I mean, it's it's tight. It's just brilliant. It's one of the best lines, and they missed it out just for the sense of realism a bit.
yeah, I was maybe it didn't fit the tone. I'm not too sure. Shakespeare does like to put a little bit of comedy into his
Shakespeare
work.
was. I know a lot of people class his plays as comedies, but did you know? Well, no, tragedies. Sorry, but did you know that he actually classed them as dark comedies?
I think that's if by the play, yes.
And yeah, it's true. There was comedy.
Well,
through, like-
tragedy is comedy in a sense. It is. No, tragedy is dark comedy.
Did you hear one about Macbeth losing his son? That's a killer.
I
No.
would say something about terrorism right now, but I just don't feel it's appropriate.
It's
What it means to say is anything
No.
funny.
no.
Jesus.
It's tragic. It's like all that stuff that happens and it all comes tumbling
Yes,
down.
it's hilarious.
It's
I was pissing myself.
It's Schadenfreude. That's
My
what
sides are splitting.
It's tapping into that German sense of humor.
You spend too much time
No.
in Europe.
Brilliant start, eh?
But told you we started with Solace.
Sorry. So, regardless,
Oh, that was a tragedy. That film's a
we'll
tragedy.
get on
That's
with
why
it,
it's so
though.
jump
funny.
back to what you were saying about the comedy aspect of it, Paul.
I think I made my point that it's Schadenfreude. You're watching someone build something up and it all comes crashing down. There's a bit of humour in that.
I actually understand what
It's
you're
very
what
vain,
you're-
very dark, and
what you're
very.
getting at, but that wasn't his style of
Yeah,
humour.
this
His
was
style of humour
if this was comedy, this is
actually
a very
inserting-
brutal punchline with
inserting straight.
Macduff.
What Shakespeare did was he actually inserted a comical character or comical scenes. There was usually a part about midway through the play, which would be considered the break nowadays. It would be
the
comedy.
jester and the.
But usually they are like thrown into the plays as some form of characters. Othello had it. Romeo and Juliet had it. Merchant of Venice had it, but I think the comedy actually lay within the main antagonist, which was the Jewish Shylock. He was kind of. I don't actually think it was Shakespeare's opinion of Jews at the time. Apparently, he never had anything against them, but for the mainstream audience at the time, Jews were like, a thing of like.
They were hated in Europe.
Yeah, they were looked to pod with just distaste.
I like how we're now just talking about Shakespeare instead of the film. I think it's
Well,
brilliant. You can't know. That's the thing. You cannot talk about.
Shakespeare
Well, it's
is
his
such
work,
a
so it's-
whole over art. It overarches everything. You can't not talk about a Shakespearean thing without talking about Shakespeare.
Yes.
Like if you were to talk about like a Scorsese film, you're obviously going to talk about his other works. Nolan, Tarantino, Lynch. You're obviously going to talk about their other works. I mean,
Okay, that's fair enough.
yeah. But yeah, I get what you mean with the comedy aspect, and this film
This
didn't
did
really
not have.
it.
This did not do
This
it at all.
was just
This
brutal.
wanted to just batter home the point of
This
Macbeth is
Macbeth
a crazy
and insanity
bastard.
and stuff like that.
This is a fucking
So-
tragedy.
So yeah, it was grounded more in realism.
Which I
Definitely.
liked. I did like the.
I liked it
It
because
didn't even feel like it was. It's swords and men in medieval. It felt like it was really muddy. It was grim. It was cold.
You know what? I just want to butt in quickly and I'm not going. I'm kind of going on a tangent, but it's still about Macbeth. When the characters would monologue to the camera, when Macbeth was sitting down or his wife was sitting in the church, and they just sort of talked to the camera, That actually happened in like all the Shakespearean plays. You know,
Yeah.
the main
Yeah,
characters
talking to the
would
audience.
talk to the audience and do a
That's what
monologue,
that's what a monologue is.
and they kept that in, and it was brilliant. Like I absolutely loved some of the Shakespearean monologues throughout all his plays. Well, the ones that I've read anyway. And they're fantastic. I was just so blown away by how authentic it was. And I mean, this was a film. You know, you would think they'd have watered it down for, you know, a film audience, but they didn't. They just basically
and
wrote the play.
that's its best thing. I think I don't like it when people try and cater for a wide audience. I think that's something you should never do.
We know what audience we're going for. We're going to do this. We're going to be quite authentic with it, which is good because
Yeah.
if they started pandering to let's do this, and
If you make it a broad
numbers in.
if you made it a broad church, it's just going to be dribble.
Yeah.
That's
True.
and if it's hit and miss with some people, fair enough. But with the people it hits, it's a hit. And this to me is a hit.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be one of the great ways of in like schools putting on Macbeth, just sticking this movie on, because that'll be a great way of doing it.
Yes,
It's
actually,
quite dark, but it's
these
a
will
good way of getting
become,
kids
because
into
obviously,
it.
like, you know, I don't know about you guys, but at my high school we were showing Othello after reading the play, and then we were showing Baz Luhrmann's version of Romeo and Juliet. It was great. It was great though. I mean, Leonardo DiCaprio in a gang war. It was just
and schools should show, if you read like Lord of the Flies, you'd get shown the film and that stuff. This, not just it will be, it should be the
quintessential Macbeth film they stick on.
Yes,
for high school.
definitely.
Yes, this is the Macbeth
It's
film.
I'd say I'd go as far as saying this is a hallmark of how you should adapt a play for
Yes.
the big
Yeah,
screen.
absolutely.
Because there have been plays adapted big screen, there've been even books adapted big screen, and sometimes it can be really good. But this, I think it's because it was so authentic, but at the same time it did its own thing with the visuals, and that's one thing I like.
Well, it's
I
basically
think-
a good play. That's what a good
Yeah.
play
It's a good
should
play.
do. You take the play and
I chuckled at the
visually.
credits when it said screenwriting, and I was like, "You did nothing. You did nothing."
hey,
That
copy
is-
and pasting
that
is
is true.
quite
You
hard
did
these
nothing.
days.
I think what this film is kind of showing, though, is the power of what you can do if you stick to the source material. You know how a lot of films deviate from books and that, and it's like, oh, but the book's too long. Have you seen the length of a Shakespearean play?
They're quite short. They're quite short.
Well, some are 300 to 400 pages.
That's not too long though.
It's a lot of books are like that though.
Macbeth
but
is
you
quite
know,
short.
like, you know, people are complaining like the Hobbit. The Hobbit's 200 pages, shorter than Macbeth, I think. And it's like,
Yeah,
we'll make
Macbeth
3 films out of it,
was-
and we're not going to stick word for word. It's like,
Macbeth
why did
goes
you do
to kill
that?
Smaug.
It's
That's the movie
just
I wanna see.
It's because majority of the plays it's just lines of dialogue and go through lines of dialogue quickly. But I'll mention just briefly Throne of Blood. Throne of Blood was based off Macbeth as well, but it's a completely different take. It was more just a story.
Wasn't it? They have their own like dialogue. It's not taken
It's
from the play.
it's
the
it's
story,
all
but it's like
it's all unique. I don't even think even like the speeches there. It's just simply the story and the plot. But what Akira Kurosawa did was just simply put it in feudal Japan and do it something different. And it was it was very different. The ending's very different. I think the ending's
you
fantastic.
told me the end scene has like thousands of extras. It's like only for a 5-second shot, but there's
Essentially,
like, an army of
it's-
extras.
It's also quite comic as well. The ending, even though like Shakespeare, Macbeth and that stuff, the triumph at the end is trying to fight and that stuff. It's tragic. In Throne of Blood, it was different, very different. I don't want to spoil it, but it was quite comically tragic. But then it leaves you in such a sort of sorrowful note, and that's all I'm going to say. Watch it; it's brilliant. But it's very different. It was not like Macbeth, the film, where it was true. This was like, I like the story of Macbeth. Let's just make my own film.
Yeah, and
So I
that's
think so when it comes to adaptations, I'll look at these two films, Throne of Blood and Macbeth, to see how you should properly adapt books or plays, whatever. You can either go the route where you do your own thing, or the route where you stay true. Don't go down the middle. Going down the middle leads to Game of Thrones.
Even staying true, you have to
Yes.
do your own thing. I think.
Hmm?
Even staying true, you have to do your own thing. I think. Like this movie did its own thing. It took the story of Macbeth, but
Yeah,
done
that's-
something
I think
better for it.
if you stay also true, it can get a bit tedious. But this, I always think that's where you stay true to source material.
definitely.
Right,
I
let's
think-
move on to the visual.
should we-
Sorry.
should we talk about the acting quickly? I think Michael Fassbender in the second half of this is
Michael
great.
Fassbender just stole the show.
Just that madness. at the end.
Actually,
It's-
everyone in this film did
Everyone in this
incredible.
is-
Even extras who were like young Scottish actors.
young
and
Scottish
and
actors,
you're like,
but they fit in
they
because
fit in.
that's just this is how Scottish people are. We know each other. It's like that's how they would speak. It's that Scottish that sounds like you're disinterested, but you're not. It was brilliant. Like, I
Marion
was like,
Cotillard as Lady Macbeth was.
I liked her.
Fantastic.
I had no issue
It
with
was-
her. She tried to change her accent a bit, but I
It's a vision need to be honest. I
no,
think it
because
worked.
what I was saying to Kev is like, you know, I don't know, I can't remember if Lady Macbeth was Scottish or French.
You could-
But
you
there
could
was
look at
French
that, but-
relations with Scots
you
and
could look at
English,
it.
and I just presumed maybe he had a French wife. So I was like, I'm fine with
She
it.
didn't even sound like overly French. It was just
No, she
it was
didn't.
like a
She didn't
non-regional
even have a
Scots
proper
accent,
accent.
really.
It was
That's what
like
sounded
a
to me.
sort of mixture, as if the two had blended. So I was like, yeah, I'll go
So
for
yeah,
it.
Fassbender was so perfect. We were like when we first went in there, we were like we liked it being a Scottish actor, not because we're nationalists. No, no. Sometimes when like it's something based in Scotland and it's like Braveheart, for instance, Mel Gibson is
Filmed
is,
in Ireland with an Aussie in the lead.
Yeah, that.
But let's be honest, though, Mel Gibson is the definitive William Wallace of the screen, though. Like
Sadly.
I can't even deny that. Like,
Sa-
regardless of what he's done,
I love and hate Braveheart. I love it how it creates so, like makes
I
it
think
really patriotic.
It's
but I hate
historically
how wrong it is.
inaccurate. But when you see it, you're just like, damn, I'm glad I'm Scottish.
Yeah, yeah. I
Even
love all
though it's an
these-
exaggeration, it's Scottish fantasy in its own way is
it's
brilliant.
It's a Scottish masturbation fantasy.
Yes, that is a weird description, but I'm going to go with it. But Michael Fassbender, like, I can't think of any other. I did say there's only one Scottish actor I'd probably say I could have seen in the role, and that was Ewan McGregor. I think he has the chops for it. He's got the look.
I would have. I think James McAvoy could
I'd
have.
give James McAvoy.
Well, James
a good
McAvoy,
shout.
I'm
Well,
pretty
he's
sure
done it
played
on stage.
Macbeth.
He's
He's done
done it at the
Macbeth
same time
on
as
stage.
someone.
So I think if anyone, he would also know.
Yeah. I also said Idris Elba. I know that was a bit of a off the wall one, but I just kind of go Idris Elba's got the sort of prowess, the height, the everything. I'm like,
I see what
I
you
would
mean.
love to
definitely
see.
could
Yeah.
like sort of the madness, just like this sort of.
You could
tortured
really
man.
see it because he's such a good actor though, and he's not street, so get away with that.
He should totally be in James Bond, not Damian Lewis, because Damian Lewis seems to be tipped. I don't. I
That's a
like
subject
Damian Lewis,
for-
but
that's
he's
a subject for another day.
That's for a
sorry.
few weeks' time.
But yeah, Michael Fassbender was perfect.
Michael Fassbender was perfect.
Everyone was
Don't think you could change him now.
So we've talked about Macbeth, the story.
and we'd all recommend it.
We've
We
talked
all
about acting.
all recommend.
Now, probably one of the most striking things, and one thing that makes this film even better, and that's the visuals and the direction. It was very sort of quite slow paced in the sense that it's comfortable paced and it's building up, slowly building up, and you know, those strikingly bold. Every shot was just made to just make you gasp in a way of going, whoa.
We already said, but the landscape shots were just
Yeah,
magnifique.
landscape shots
What
were eye candy.
reminded me of was Nicholas Winding Refn's Valhalla Rising. That was also set in Scotland, and it was always that same sort of stunning shots of the Scottish moors and the hills, and very slow, very bubbling away, just building up,
You
building
know-
up. Valhalla Rising just sort of fizzles, to be honest. Even though I love it, it fizzles, but the visuals are great. This combined with that in the way that it was all striking and all just sort of explosive in its own visuals, but not like not typical explosion. We're like
Could I
in the
just
brain.
say quickly, like, you know, I've
Not the Bayhem kind.
Not the
I
Bayhem
travelled round Skye about probably a decade ago now, and you know the island's like beautiful. I mean, half of it was covered in fog. I mean, if you go anywhere in the Highlands, most of it was covered in fog, so it's kind of disappointing. But I mean, it some of the scenery is just out of this world. You have to see it to believe it. And then when I seen this film, I just went, they captured it so well. It's like seeing it for the first time again. That is how brilliant it was. It was just shot for shot, absolutely stunning and beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the only thing that made me annoyed was that I think more film should be filmed in the Highlands. I want to see more movies, more.
Were they filming some part of the new Star Wars in Scotland when it started?
No, that wasn't. No,
I'm sure they filmed it in an isle. filmed a part of it, I'm sure.
They took a part of it. I'm sure.
just we're keeping.
I'm
this.
sure it's the Christine Gwendolyn's part as Captain Phantasma. I think it's when she's crash landed on a planet.
This
there's
alien
a
planet,
there's
Scotland.
there's like a destroyed visit Scotland. There's
Sounds like my wife.
don't do that again. Okay, sorry. There's like a destroyed Imperial base, and I think that they took the landscape from Scotland and basically put it there. I mean, how much of it's going to be in, I don't know. But I mean, I can't complain, to be honest. Scotland's getting like, I mean, we could discuss this at another time, and we will have to move on to Solace in a minute. Yeah. But I just want to say, like, for my roundup anyway, that a lot of films are like filming in Scotland recently, and I totally encourage it because it's beautiful to see on screen. Like, I've been to the Highlands, but I mean, fuck me, it's just seeing it on screen just gives you a different perspective of it, I guess, like as if you're seeing it for the first time.
So I'd love to talk more about Macbeth, but we want to keep this short.
We could go on about it all day.
I could go on about it all day. So we'll round up. I'll start for reasons. Yeah, definitely. My film of the year, probably. I'll go so far, and there are many films actually coming up that I'm also very excited for. So, yeah, at the current moment, I'd say it edges just over like Mad Max, just in a personal view. Even though Mad Max, it's brilliant. When I say this year, I mean post Oscars, so like Whiplash and Birdman are sort of exempt. They're classed as last year.
They've already had their Oscar.
They've already had their claim.
Glad to hear Birdman.
So yeah, definitely love it. Watch it. Talk about it.
Yeah, go watch it. It's one of my top 3 films of this year. I mean, I personally still prefer Mad Max slightly, and that's not because I think Macbeth is the better story. No one's going to argue that. It's Shakespeare. But Mad Max is just my kind of film. It's high octane action, pure adrenaline rush. But regardless, Macbeth, beautiful film, beautifully acted. It's just there's a passion to it that's sort of rare in films nowadays. Yeah, go see it, please. I beg you to go see this film.
I concur with all that's been said. I'd say maybe one thing, you might struggle with the whole Shakespearean language, how it takes 3 lines to say one thing, but 10 minutes in, you're over that.
You said yourself, the visuals draw you in.
Yeah, the visuals do it for you. So I mean, it's a great. If you're going to see an adaptation of a Shakespeare, go see Macbeth because it's just great. Plus, it's awesome. It's awesome. 9 out of 10. But are we moving on to our Oh no, we need to do Everest first. We need to do a quick round.
60-second quick fire round. Paul, what did you think of Everest?
A bunch of white men go up a mountain after paying 60 grand and it goes bad. Okay, I know it feels bad to say that it's based on a true story, but honestly, it was a boring piece of CGI trash I don't care about.
If you're a privileged white man, you'll survive. Don't worry, go climb Everest. Don't see this movie.
I thought it was alright. It's a Netflix watch. It's not on Netflix, but it could have been done an hour on Discovery Channel.
It was a poor man's Gravity.
And moving on
to Solace, a film by some director I don't know, starring Anthony Hopkins and Colin Farrell. You've probably not heard of it. That's a good thing that you've not heard of it. Save your ears
and your soul.
Oh, where do we begin?
I know where to begin.
You can start then.
Now, I like to think of myself as a fair man when it comes to movies, more so than you two. I think I give movies a bit more leeway.
You're very tolerant.
But this movie was a pile of wank. It is full of shit. It is. No, it is. We literally came out and said, someone has seen Seven. They've seen Seven. Watched Sherlock afterwards, and went, I confused these together. Oh, I'm going to throw in Christ imagery because I just graduated from film school. Wank, I tell you. And I fell asleep during it. Well,
see, we read the IMDb and we've found out the original script was meant to be a 7 sequel
called 8.
Oh. And I was just like, wait, it called 8?
There's only 7 deadly sins.
So now Fincher went, no, get the fuck, thankfully. And so this script has just been sitting there for ages.
So this is going to be a sequel to 7.
Supposed to be.
That's just
that was the original plan. Of course, it changed, but they used the story and went, let's just turn it into a film, hand it off to some director who thinks he's big for his boots.
Christ imagery.
Yeah. I mean, I actually wanted to go see Macbeth the day we went and seen this. So thanks, guys.
But we do have it to rip apart now.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not the worst film I've seen.
It's not the worst.
It's not the worst. Like, I mean, I found Everest worse than this, to be fairly honest.
No,
I don't know
this
about
was
you
worse.
guys.
There was a bit of enjoyability.
There was some.
about Solace.
This film had kind of a good concept. Kind of.
It had a great core idea. There is a great core idea of greater good, lesser evil, that stuff.
It was poorly delivered by someone who I swear to God was probably a student director. There was Christ imagery shoved in every single orifice while you're watching this film. Literally, I got fucked by Jesus. I'm not. Yeah, I'm. That's not even an exaggeration.
That's going
I
on
feel,
the.
you know, Jesus just fucking went to town on me.
That's going on the Facebook page, the banner. I got fucked by Jesus.
Yes, this is going to
Ryan
be
Conley, 2015.
Anthony, I mean, this film has a fairly good cast.
There's like 3 actors, and I'm like,
there's
what are you
the
doing here?
FBI guy. I can't remember his name, but
Jeffrey
I've seen
Dean
him in
Morgan.
all stuff.
Jeffrey
yeah.
Dean Morgan.
There's Sir Anthony Hopkins. Like, what are you doing?
I'm here for the money. I come to get the money.
He literally read lines as Anthony Hopkins, disinterested. It was so brilliant to watch him. Like, the premise is like he can see, if he touches people, he can sort of see into their future. That sounds so wrong.
That's what Jesus told me.
He can
if he
see,
touches me,
he can see into their future, kind of, and he sees into this FBI agent's future that he has a bit of a quarrel with, and then they bond later on. The typical bullshit story. And he just starts delivering the lines like, you had a baby, you gave it up for adoption, you're basically a bitch, and your life's going nowhere, and you're going to die. And it's so funny to watch.
It's quite funny to watch.
This woman is trying to act, and Anthony Hopkins is just delivering it like, oh, I can't wait till my paycheck clears. Colin Farrell doesn't turn up until the end. And this is not an exaggeration. He literally is the pinnacle of Christ's metaphors.
Yeah.
I think the director wanted him to be like the second coming of Christ. This movie just baffled me.
I like Colin Farrell a lot, but I don't think he's got the presence to be Jesus. He does not have.
Ask me if I think Colin Farrell's Jesus.
He's the Irish Jesus.
He's the Irish Jesus.
Yeah.
It's the best we've got.
Colin Farrell has always turned up using an Irish accent.
He's from Boston.
I like to imagine like, oh, I'm Irish and I'm from Seattle. You know, okay, he can't do American accents. Fair enough. That's not wrong for him. He's still a good actor nonetheless.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was just a core concept. If put in the right hands and treated with some respect, I guess that's the right word, would have been watchable. Could have been alright. There's something there.
I think it would have been quite good if they actually got someone who knew what they're fucking doing.
Mm-hmm.
Not a 7 sequel, not a David Fincher 7 sequel.
No,
that
I
can
think it would
that
have
can
been
go
a good,
away.
I think it would have been a good popcorn movie to fill in the gap between sort of you know the James Bond, the big winter blockbusters.
It could have been a decent thriller. This tried to pass off as a psychological thriller. There was nothing really psychological or
I know
antagonist.
when you've got some guy who's basically an old ass Charles Xavier. I can see your future, and if I touch you,
that was it really. It was just I have mind powers, and I'm up against a guy who also has mind powers. It's a psychological thriller. I'm like, one, it's not really that psychological. And two, this is not thrilling.
I fell asleep halfway through. I did as well.
I think so too.
I'm not even joking. I fell asleep when the art guy shoots Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and I woke up to Anthony Hopkins in a car crash.
Oh, so he fell asleep for like 1 minute.
There's a scene in this film where Anthony Hopkins is with the FBI and they're raiding this guy's place thinking it's the killer, and he's basically a fucked up artist, and he has a cup of frog. He has a cup with like decorated with frogs. Anthony Hopkins literally goes, frogs. The guy drops the cup in slow motion, shoots the FBI guy that Anthony Hopkins seen. Anthony Hopkins yells, really disinterested, to get an ambulance. Slowly walks out the building. He doesn't run. I'll give that down to his age, but he just walks out. It's so funny. He's like the Terminator. That's all I thought. I was like, Anthony Hopkins is a psychological Terminator.
Because, oh my god, I'd love to see him versus Arnold Schwarzenegger.
This is the thing. He can see if he's about to die, so he changes what is about to happen. But this is the thing. How can he see into his own future when he can only see other people's, but he can see his own future? I don't get. It's never explained how this power works. Like, it really isn't.
It does not always.
Oh, it just goes, for reasons I have this. Are they religious?
The government hasn't decided to experiment on him. Like, really?
Yeah, it's a bit weird. But the film was shoddily directed. It was so boring to watch. There was nothing, no effort really put behind the camera.
Nah.
And then whenever the director tried to be artsy and cool with the visions, it just came off as just
Pretentious wank.
pseudo avant-garde. It doesn't even deserve to be called like avant-garde, because avant-garde has got some sort of thought behind it. This just seemed to be some
This
guy.
is just wank.
This is yeah, exactly. It's just a guy going, "Oh, I'm going to be artsy," and just starts throwing shit at the wall. No.
Yeah,
No.
because from every scene in this film, about at least every 10 minutes, he had to throw the Christ imagery in.
Because we forgot about the Christ imagery just for a few minutes.
If he did it once, I could pass it off, but only once, and even then I'd still say it was too much.
It forced it down too much. There was we used a shot of Colin Farrell doing the Christ pose as there was a shine light behind him, and you're like,
Okay,
oh my god.
I honestly don't give a shit. Colin Farrell gets killed. Spoilers.
No, this film's not even worth
And
watching.
he collapses in the position of the cross, and
Ryan's done.
We need a medic.
Ryan
Get a
can't
priest.
cope anymore.
fuck
But
murders.
and then whenever again it was like just a sort of typical B team movie shots of the cityscape and that stuff, and then there's a music going on like, oh, it's energetic music, but it's just fall flat. There was no energy at all
It was just
behind
boring.
anything.
It was just
It was
boring.
boring, it was
slow
tedious.
pace.
It was tedious to watch. Nothing interesting on the screen happened.
I needed solace while watching Solace.
Yeah.
I like the fact you had sex with a man, so you get AIDS.
Oh, can I
Oh,
just
here
discuss
we go.
this very quickly? With the Jesus imagery thrown into this film, and then there's a man being interrogated whose wife has died because the killer killed him. Well, Colin Farrell killed her. I said him, sorry. And basically, you know, it shows you mental images of this guy having sex with another woman, and he basically cheated on his wife and he was leaving her. And then Anthony Hopkins finds out that it was actually a man he was cheating on her with. And he warned the police not to touch the bathwater in case they had an open cut, because the woman had AIDS, because her husband at the time had sex with another man and instantly got AIDS.
You caught the AIDS.
Now, I don't know where to begin, because yes, I will say, you know, men who have sex with men can catch AIDS. It is just as susceptible for heterosexual couples, but that has never been shown in a film. It is I'm going to call it a movie trope, because this wouldn't piss me off as much if it wasn't the first movie to do it. But there are a lot of movies where it's like, oh, the gay guy's got AIDS because he had sex with another man, he cheated on his wife, and now his wife's got AIDS. Not the first film to do it, and I'm getting pretty sick of it. And this film, because it was so shit. See, if it was a good film, I might give it a slide, but because it was such a shit film, no, fuck this film.
I think it just ties back into how lazy and ignorant the film is. It just went, and
It's entirely
that happens.
ignorant. It's fucking stupid.
Like, I don't even know who
The whole
blames
thing,
it.
I guess, the
scriptwriters or
trope,
the
I guess,
writers?
started off with Philadelphia. Tom Hanks, I guess, that's the earliest film I can think of that ever actually explored AIDS in a sense. But yeah, I think after that, everyone was like, "Oh, that film was well received and it was all feely. Let's just try and fizzle that down into like one scene." What the fuck? No, you don't do that.
It was just a shit movie.
It's not worth going to see it.
Also, Jeffrey Dean Morgan knows he has lung cancer, but he's still working. Surely at this point, if you have 1 month left, you go,
Oh yeah, that's
fuck that, I'm going to spend time with family.
That's a twist, isn't it?
Oh yeah, and why didn't Anthony Hopkins see that then?
Yeah.
Here's another. He only sees it until like. Oh yeah, he doesn't see it at all.
No,
He's seen his daughter. He's seen his daughter's death like 20 years later, but he doesn't see that he's
No, he saw
FBI
like
friend.
the Jeffrey Dean Morgan's kids' whole like future. He gets married, like goes to college, gets married, has kids and shit. So
Yeah.
was he just a dickhead and didn't tell
Here's
Jeffrey
another
Dean
thing.
Morgan?
Okay, now just I guess round up Solace in like a sentence. Kieran.
Over. No, just wank. Just a pile of shitty, wanky piece of shit wank.
How artful.
Thank you.
Ryan.
Created by some fucking failure of a student that should just go fuck himself.
I'll do mine without swearing by saying it's a pseudo artsy nonsense that fails in every aspect.
Shitty wank.
It's shitty like yeah.
And with that, we are not recommending Solace at all. I
No.
give it a 1 out of 10.
It's even if it'll go on Netflix, there are plenty of other things you can watch on Netflix.
Yeah, it's not even like a good bad movie.
Even if you somehow watch everything on Netflix, there's still something on Netflix.
just turn the TV off, that's all.
Just turn it off. Sleep. Have a sleep.
Yes.
Your dreams will be better, even if they're nightmares.
You can skip this film and be happy with it. You won't get upset.
And avoid the Christ imagery.
Yes. So that brings us on to our final topic of today, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Our first game review.
Our first ever game review.
Well, we would like to do more, I guess.
Yeah,
Depends.
there's a good few games coming out, and
I guess if we all
expect
played
to
them.
Fallout
If we all
4.
played them.
Yeah.
So the game is by Supermassive Games Until Dawn.
Yes. I want to declare we until dawn.
We Until
In
Dawn
one
Until
go we
Dawn.
did this whole game.
We started off at 7 or 8
No, it
o'clock.
was half 8. It was like half 8.
Half 8,
'Cause we watched
and
Community first.
finished at like 4.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, half 4.
Half 4. So that may sound like it's really short, but is it one of those games that there's a lot of choices? There will be probably spoilers for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
Spoiler
going
filled,
to be
sorry.
spoiler heavy, so if you don't want to hear any, please just switch off now.
Oh, we'll say
people
though
might
is
not
that
get the same things that happen to them if they do play it. So
I've heard a lot of the. This is kind of spoiler. Some of the choices you make, other than keeping characters alive, nothing really affects anything else in the game. I've heard, and you don't get a different ending or anything really.
but I guess that's the whole point. It's to sort of try and keep everyone alive or kill everyone.
Yeah, that is the main purpose
And I
of the
think that's
choices
fine.
in the game.
I think that's fine. I
Yeah.
think it's. I don't think it's giving the illusion that you're going to affect the plot. I think it's affecting characters' destiny, in a sense. What's going to happen to them?
and their characterization and story and all that.
Yeah, you can affect that stuff, which is pretty cool. Like other games, like other sort of these choice games, like Telltale games, they tend to do a thing where they go, "Oh, you can affect the story drastically," but then you find out that not really.
To be fair, Telltale is like more of a path of, are you going to do it as a good guy or are you just going to be a total knobhead? That's
Yes and no. I still feel they try and have the illusion that you are doing something like that will affect everything, and that will make and you have
Sometimes
cataclysmic.
sometimes it affects it though.
I guess.
Not every choice leads to an earthquake, but it's some
Not
choices do.
it's the wrong word I used, but I think this handled well. I think it handled right.
I think it was a great game.
Yeah, it was very good.
I
Very
really enjoyed it.
really fun. Even though it was a horror, it wasn't that scary.
No.
No, I think what its key strengths was sort of build and tension. Like there was one point when I was playing on my my second character because my first one got killed. No thanks to someone.
Oh, not one of us.
We didn't
Oh,
do
no,
it.
we didn't. It wasn't one of
Don't
these
try and
guys.
hint it's one of us.
So I was on my other character, and the music builds up to the point there's going to be a jump scare, and it's right behind this door, and I still don't want to go because I'm just kind of like, I really don't want to. But
was this the basement?
yeah,
Yeah,
I went, and it just doesn't disappoint. I mean, a jump scare is going to happen. It might not scare you, but it's just
It's going to make you jump.
it's going to make you jump. Yeah, and I think just. Like this game, I keep going on about visuals today, but everything in this game worked. The shadow effects, the characters,
The atmosphere was
the
fantastic.
atmosphere, especially when you were outside. There was a segment of my first character and her boyfriend walking to the alternate cabin, and I mean that was a pretty fucking long path actually. I don't know if that would
It was
be
quite absurd.
realistic or not.
It was
Absurdly long, and then you get lost in a mine. In which case they would probably call for help or something. They wouldn't just explore the mine, but whatever.
That's the thing I love. Even though it's sort of as a horror and that stuff, it plays in horror cliches. And when people complain like, "Oh, god damn it, these stupid idiots." Thing is, these
the
were
one
all
making them a
stupid
stupid
teens. You know what I mean? They're all stupid young adults who only want to think
You're
about
on
the
about
dick.
the mine. You were playing that bit, and you're like refusing to go in the
Oh,
mine. Like,
I-
he's not going in there.
I wanted to see what happened because I was like, I wanted something bad to happen. I love the idea of just
Yeah.
fucking it all up.
I think the thing we all agreed was great was the fact it never initially pinned itself down as what it was. So we didn't know if it was a slasher or a supernatural.
It marketed
or a
as a
monster.
slasher.
It was marketed as a slasher.
It was marketed very, very well because there is a kind of twist in it.
It is a twist.
And
It's a good twist.
It's a massive twist.
It's a very good twist.
We'll go with spoilers here, but halfway through the game, it's revealed that there is no actually psycho killer.
It's just a psycho.
Well, there is and there isn't. I mean, one of your friends basically has
It's all a big elaborate ruse.
basically done a Home Alone in the house to get revenge because two of his sisters died about a year ago at this place as they fell off a cliff running from something. Now, that is the first hint that there's something that we're not
something
seeing
ain't
right.
about this
But
cabin.
as soon as the psycho killer comes on the case and you hear him and see him for the first time, you kind of go, "Oh, okay, that's it." But there's also this sort of thing that's, the next major hint was there was a deer that was slaughtered by something, and it definitely wasn't wolves with how quick it was, and it gets dragged away like instantly. And then Mike and his girlfriend run to the hut. Well, they don't know what it is. We presume it's a bear. They think it's a bear. But then, spoilers again, but my character, Mike's girlfriend, basically gets torn through a window and carried off in a very brutal fashion. And then you realise that there's something else.
And after that bit, Mike's got to do a bunch of QTEs and that stuff to chase after her.
This
Now,
is unfortunately
one of our other companions in the big group, she
Cannot do quick
she
time
can't do
events
quick
for
time
life.
events, so she got Jessica killed.
To be fair, there was
'Cause
a lot of quick times in that bit.
The
so
brilliant thing is though, like, this game does a flashback to the certain character who has to save another character and shows you like
Where you fucked up.
where you fucked up, and you're like, oh god damn it.
Then you can just turn to your friend and go, "You fucking idiot."
it's a great friend building game.
So yeah, the biggest twist is that
twist.
on the mountain's not a murderer. There are Wendigos.
Wendigo.
And it builds up and it keeps on giving you hints at what it could be. And you're always
I
trying.
unintentionally figured this out.
You figured it out.
Like,
Yeah.
I just off the cuff said, I bet it's a Wendigo or some shit, not actually believing it. And you and Holly teacher going, oh shit, he figured it out.
Because we both knew the twist beforehand. Because we knew the entire game, to be honest. But yeah, it's always like sort of giving you hints. What is?
Yeah.
There's always hints of some sort of monster or some sort of supernatural thing.
Yeah, but you didn't know if the guy running around, if it's the mask.
There's
or something like that, which is great.
there's totems as well though that sort of, if you collect a lot of them, you can collect all of them, but it will basically explain a story like there was a cave in the mines when there used to be miners up there, and then I think they had to resort to cannibalism, and then they basically became insane and turned into Wendigos because
And there was a spirit on the mountain. The mountains was
Yes.
The
possessed in a
Wendigo
sense.
is a thing. It's
if you cannibalize, you become a Wendigo essentially. So they're the first Wendigos, and
then
then
get locked up at the local asylum, which
yeah,
is such
the
a smart idea.
The local asylum. There's an asylum in this mountain and everything.
A sanatorium.
Sanatorium,
Keep it classy.
and like visually, all this is beautiful. Like you can see the building in
It's
the
still
distance
giving
and
me
whatnot.
chills even now, like thinking about it. Just
Yeah,
the
like
atmosphere,
the
it's just
mine
really
shaft.
creepy.
Like even when I didn't know what this thing was chasing us, whenever I went into the mine, I was terrified because the mine is another cliche horror thing, but it's just this big dark abyss under this mountain, and you don't know what the hell is in there. It's deserted.
there's just
there's
screeches
no
and
light.
fire.
There's screeches. There's
You
don't know-
which made us think, is there a fucking dragon in this mountain?
you
Is this what we're
don't
dealing with?
know what's going on, and it keeps you going and it keeps you on edge. And I mean that's one of its strong points. Now, if this was done as a film, it definitely hella wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
Because they would have to fit 8 hours of story in an hour and a half.
Yeah,
they could shorten it, but
It always doing. I think the fact that you know that you can kill someone so easily, that you're responsible for these people, and that puts you in more edge.
Well, it's the bits that make you feel intense when it says don't move and you're there going,
oh
like
yeah,
a sniper just holding your breath. Like,
our MVP female character. Kev took over at the end because our other friend is.
No, I'm even pissed off about it because I'd done everything right, and then
Yes,
it's like
he had to. You have to not even breathe when holding the controller.
It's very strict.
There's a lot of Wendigos in the room before the characters are about to run out into the sunlight and get rescued, and basically a lot of characters can die at this point if you're not careful. You could lose everyone practically. So I read, and our MVP female character was the one that was picked initially. And he held the controller for about 10 seconds through 2 phases, and on the 3rd phase, he moved, and then it just
what happened.
ripped her apart.
And not the
It was so disappointing. She was such a good character.
She was the hero female essentially.
Yeah,
She was essentially the sort of the main character.
I think it adds to the story that she died, though.
I guess.
It says a lot.
It does affect the ending because at the end all the characters are explaining to like the police like what happened on the mountain, because like the police are just like, well, what the fuck happened, and you know, they're trying to explain this stuff and they're explaining like the action, so that does change like depending on what characters survive and whatnot. All the dialogue will change, which I think is brilliant. Actually, I really like that aspect of it. I'd love to replay it just to hear the different lines of dialogue.
Even though it's only up 8 hours long, and you can complete it in one night. You can play it again. That's great.
And replay the chapters, change stuff. Like we
Yeah,
can
like I really wanted to keep Flamethrower guy alive.
Thanks, Robbie.
There's okay, I call him Brendan Gleeson because I feel that if Brendan Gleeson was in a video
Sure, why are you
game,
going up this mountain? Get off it right now.
this was Brendan Gleeson in a video game.
Except American.
He looked
Brendan Gleeson.
exactly like him, and he's basically the hero that explains the Wendigo curse to the characters if you hadn't figured it out. He's got a flamethrower, he's a badass, and then you dumbass teens just had to go out, and then you basically if you fuck up, he ends up getting his head decapitated, and you're I actually hate the characters. Like I actually hate most of them.
I like Mike. We gave Mike a good character arc. He went
Mike starts off as a douche, then you realise that Mike
good.
is the best.
Yeah, Mike became really good. He's the hero of it. Like he's nice to
What was
dogs.
the name of the guy who had me the
and
total
everything.
dickhead? Like I just played him as an absolute dickhead. Is it
Was
Matt?
that's the one that got hooked in the mine shaft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, a total dick, and I didn't feel bad when he got butchered.
that was so funny how that happened. You literally entered the mine, and then it's just like you get grabbed and.
I was like, seriously? I don't even get a sort of, I get to run away? No, just...
Yeah, basically.
What I did like, it seemed like the sort of walking about was a throwback to sort of the original horror games on PS1 and stuff, like Silent Hill and Resident Evil, where you just walk about. There's not like a run button, and there's not stuff like that.
Definitely, yeah.
Which I liked.
As a fan of Silent Hill and Silent Hills and that stuff. Yeah, I don't like Konami anymore. So if anyone
Konami.
I wanted anyone to ever
Kojima.
do a Silent Hill game, it would be Supermassive. However, I'd want Supermassive to because they will probably make another game. This is actually done pretty well.
Apparently, this is getting a sequel of sorts. I don't know if it will be like with the same characters or that.
Well,
But
you do the ending where you save everyone. Psycho Killer, spoiler, gets dragged off and becomes a Wendigo somehow. So I don't know if
his
thing works.
basically spoilers. Psychopath killer. Josh.
He's not a killer though. He was just pulling a prank.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just a prank.
He's Hugh Jackman and Chappie. It's just a joke, mate. It's just a joke.
His sister, one of his sisters survived and got trapped in the mine shaft, and they had to like eat part of her sister, and then she becomes a Wendigo because basically she has a tattoo on her arm. And there's 2 options, like she'll either kill Josh by crushing his head, but if Josh finds out the clues from his friends, if you pick them all up, then he figures out it's his sister, and then he says like her name or something, and she recognises him, but she, like, they go off together, and then he becomes a Wendigo with her. And
that's one way the sole choice thing is that, you know, just by simply looking around and picking things up, you can effectively save someone or kill someone.
Yeah. I think we should have to talk about the MVP though. We love him here at the GUB, Mr. Pierce Stormare.
Oh, we went like 10
Yes.
minutes talking about this and not mentioned Stormer once. That's quite amazing.
But
yeah,
we have a whole segment now. Just to talk
Exactly.
about
You're
the
a
glory of Storm.
psychopath.
You're a fucking psycho, Josh.
Peter Stormare,
Playing this game with
the
your
Swedish,
friends.
the Swedish magician.
I love him.
Fantastic.
We love
He
him.
plays a therapist.
A therapist.
and he's like just like it's like forced therapy.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Just like aggressive therapy, is that a better word? And it's like get your head together and stuff, and he's just so fantastic. He's having so much fun.
It's the person of lips who sits like, hello, Josh.
It's one of the best acted video game characters that I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
The face recognition in this for like the actor stuff is awesome.
But he's had so much. He's having so much fun. You can tell
He's just there.
just through the voice and through the facial animations.
This is a role he must have fucking enjoyed.
Oh, it looks brilliant.
It's
Just
so
having that, it just looks. It's hard to put properly in the words just how great he is.
You just need to watch it. You just need to see him.
You gotta watch him. Every time he smiles, and that's just this shit-eating grin, and you just go, oh my god, he's fucking.
It's not even just because it's Peter Stormare. He's actually really acting really good in it. It's like as it goes on, where the office becomes more and more, well, just like shit.
Because it's inside Josh's.
Spoiler.
We say spoilers, even though we warned. Yes, all inside Josh. It's all inside Josh's mind, and as more as his mind deteriorates, the more that changes. I don't know. I think that might be affected by choices. I know a couple of choices affect the mind, but I don't know how far it changes. I'll be quite interested to see how far your choices in the game affect.
When you do another all-night playthrough.
As far as I know, it's literally basically characters survive or characters die, and then some dialogue's different at the end. But the zero punctuation review I watched of it, basically he played it again and said not much changes in terms of anything else. Characters survive, characters die, blah blah blah. You know.
Yeah. Is that bad? I don't know. I
know that's the game's core strength.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it has replayability if you really want to keep all your characters alive.
I think this is one of the best social games I've played in years. Like,
yeah,
we had so much fun playing, especially in Robbie Copeland himself at a jump scare. I named you.
What I did say is that if this game had a sort of split screen or multiplayer co-op that you could do with friends, because I know it would be difficult and it would be quite technical, but knowing that you're just exploring and something you pick up or do can fuck over someone else that goes to that area somehow, and you can get your friends killed somehow, and you're all doing it at the same time. That's really cool. I think that would be brilliant, but I don't know if that's maybe a wee bit beyond
you have
currently
to shoot
or
this
what.
monster or your friend dies.
Yeah, your friends.
Like
you could have your set path like they sort of did.
I think there's a game like this could.
But
have
it's like one character's at this cabin first before this character gets there because they've got to go turn on the power or something, or they're in the mine shaft.
Yeah.
And if you close the door in the mine shaft, basically a Wendigo will come and kill this person. But if you close the door, then you have a chance of playing it safe and no Wendigos can come after you, sort of thing. I don't know. It has potential, and that's just what my dream for it. But that's what I'd love to see if they did another one. Personally,
I think they can do a sequel easily. If there's one thing I had a gripe about, I was expecting more sort of legit scares.
Yeah,
like I wanted a bit more sort of legit. Like N-Bit has a lot more legit.
Yeah,
scares,
a lot of people
this
were going,
was
"This
so
game's super scary," and I'm like, "There's jump scares and tension."
like,
but
there's like 2 or 3 jump scares that actually made me go, "Oh shit!" The others were just like,
The first half of the game is cheap jump scares more than.
Yeah.
It's always like,
I think we're all desensitized sort of cheap jump scares at this point.
to be honest, I
I
think the first part of the game was more tense because you don't know. Well, I didn't anyway.
Yeah,
know what was happening, and there's this predator thing that appears in the woods and stuff.
Yeah, Predator turns up.
So that creeped me out. I was like, what the hell is this? It's butchering animals and shit, and it's like, is it going to come after us? Is it going to kill us? Like, you just don't know what's going to happen. I think that's the best part of the game.
The asylum, I think, as well, is just the level is great.
The asylum was
crumbling.
the sanatorium was just looked so. It was a mausoleum essentially to like these fucking Wendigos, and you can pretty much figure out what happened there as well, which is quite cool. It's got its own backstory. And
yeah, I love that. That's another thing we should talk about, the sort of backstory, how it's not giving you in one chunk. It's like, here's all the things.
Yeah,
no, you actually have to figure
everything
out what
here
went on
has its backstory. It's like you understand that the main guy's psychopath's family bought this house. There was miners up here. You understand what happened in the mine shaft eventually. You find out what happened in the sanatorium. You find out how it all ties together. It's just brilliant. I love it.
There's a lot of lack of exposition. That's a good thing. Because
I
it's
think
serious.
it works as the
It's,
fact it
it's
doesn't throw
tension
it all at
and
you.
mystery that fuels this game. Not really scare. I didn't really get spooked. I don't know, like, oh my god, Jesus Christ, that's
Yeah,
spooky
no,
as hell.
because it was primarily jump scares, and we've desensitized that.
Yeah,
so.
you're completely right. But yeah,
The flashback stuff though was kind of creepy, like the sort of the way they put the clips together, how it was jumping and the skulls and like sort of tearing flesh, like that sort of segment still makes me
Oh,
go
yeah,
a
yeah,
bit, ugh, don't know about that.
For sure.
yeah, when the Wendigos turned up, that got a bit and that made it
That's
scary.
what the second half of the game is a lot more tense, and that's what makes it a bit more scary. 'cause
Yeah,
you're like, shit,
as soon as
wanna
I seen the
survive so much.
Wendigos and how fast they moved in that, it automatically reminded me of I can't remember what they're called, but from Dead Space 1.
or necromorphs.
Yeah, very, very kind of claustrophobic
Mm.
at times, and it reminded me of them with their design and that. I mean, I'm the only one.
I agree with
can
you.
see where you're coming from. It didn't remind me of them.
I
but
know
get it, 'cause,
Wendigos are meant to be like a fantasy, ancient Indian, Native American myth and whatnot, but
I liked how it was Wendigos because Wendigos are quite. I didn't really know about Wendigos before this.
See, I only know it because it was in Marvel. Like
I
I
only-
only know because of Wolverine.
I
and
only
Marvel, that's
I
what
only
Hulk's
know
like.
I only know them from the episode. There was one in Torchwood, but that was like a great.
But
way to
Wendigos
find
have always
that.
been a sort of thing. That's
Over
what
here, like you ask the average person what Wendigo is, and go, "What the f is a Wendigo?" In America, maybe a bit more, but over here it's great because we have no clue what a Wendigo.
So
is.
it's really nice. It's not. It wasn't just like a zombie or anything like that or
It
some
was
made
something a
up.
bit more cultural. It was a bit more sort of ancient.
Yeah,
myth.
and it kept the theme of the game because the game was always like, yeah, you're in some sort of Native American.
Yeah, it's they put a curse
Site.
on this land because it was taken from them.
Yeah.
so, which is great.
You're in somewhere some sort of relevance
yeah,
to Native American culture. So yeah, I think it worked perfectly.
Mm.
Wendigo was an awesome twist,
yeah.
and
Well, it's the fact they sort of keep you going. What is this game? Is it a slasher? Is there a ghost? Is what is out in the woods?
yeah, because it starts off as slasher and then supernatural stuff starts happening. You think it's going to be a ghost.
Brendan Gleeson's What's Out in the Woods.
Get off this mountain right now! Get off!
Oh, it's fucking Wendigos again.
And then it turned out to be Wendigos.
It turns out to be Wendigos.
I liked it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
surprisingly loved how well acted these cliche horror teen
Well, I
characters
think they
were
were
as
going
well.
for that. They knew
The
going in,
dialogue
they were
was
sort of
the
like-
dialogue was really good as well and stuff. And I was like, yeah, these are believable characters. You know,
You've got Hayden
Hayden Panettiere.
is that is his spell?
Yeah, I like her.
She worked, and then you got is it Remy Malik? Oh my god, the name escapes me right now. He was in the Pacific and Mr. Robot, the main character. He was Josh.
Oh yeah. I know what you're on about.
Oh my god, it's gonna annoy me. I'm so sorry I got his name wrong. But
But this guy plays Mike. I think it's Michael. No, Dalton. Is that no?
Josh DeMille? No, it wasn't Josh DeMille.
was great.
Nathan Drake.
Played by Nolan.
Yeah,
North.
everyone was perfect in a
Everyone,
weird
yeah.
way because they were. It's a cliche. It's like Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah,
just,
they played on the whole. Oh, a bunch
played
of
on it.
horny teens in the mountains.
except it wasn't as crazy as Cabin in the Woods, where Cabin in the Woods went all out at the end. This went. It's a horror.
It's a horror.
It's a horror. It's just typical horror, and
Yeah.
it wasn't.
It
I think
fucking
that's
worked.
great. It worked.
It really did. So I guess we should summarise it and just give our recommendation. Yeah,
I'd
approaching
recommend
an hour.
it. I know it's only for PS4, which is a real bummer. If you've got a PS4,
Yeah, you're
grab some
telling me.
friends.
Yeah, this is a great social.
Grab
game.
some friends, and just spend one night drinking, and you'll
No.
get it done. You'll get it done if you stay up all night.
Get good scrubs.
And it is 8 to 10 hours well spent.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's fun. And if you've got one person in your group who is like really susceptible to jump scares,
Play on that.
makes it even better.
We're not pointing fingers.
Uh,
Nope. Robbie Pope. It was the fact like building up to it. We started watching him.
we looked.
because
At
it was
him.
more.
We didn't even look at the game. We were too busy looking
We were
at
looking
him.
at him just
So
to
we
see-
missed all the jump scares because we were looking at him, just waiting for his reaction.
So yeah, if you have a friend or friends who are really like shite themselves at jump scares, then buy this game.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a PS4, but I mean, if I did, or if it came out for Xbox, I'd easily buy it for a second run through. It's just so fun, and it just looks it looks lovely as well. It's like a Winter Wonderland kind of at parts, and then it just
Turns to hell.
turns
Yeah.
to hell. It's just the environments look amazing. You feel like you're kind of properly in it. Yeah, thoroughly involved. So that pretty much wraps it up for this week. We're at the 1 hour mark. So guys, I mean, what will next week?
Well,
be?
next
we are
week.
seeing Sicario tonight.
Next
Yes.
week we're hoping to see Sicario.
Well, we are going to see Sicario
We're going to
tonight.
see Sicario tonight. We're hoping to review Sicario, The Walk, and
The
Repression.
Walk, and
I think they're the 3 films we want to go.
is it
What was the last
Is it
one?
not Regression?
Regression.
Regression.
Sorry. Because that's out tomorrow as well.
Yeah.
Emily Watson and Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I know you're on about.
And it's from the director of The Others, which
Oh,
is
do you
like one
mean
of my
Harry Potter 8? What
favorite
happened afterwards?
horror
Yeah.
movies of all time. So
Harry Potter goes to Silent Hill. That's what looks like to me. I don't know. I'm getting a really weird Silent Hill vibe from it. I don't know why.
I've never played Silent Hill, so I don't know.
Yeah,
but it
no,
does look
but-
that sort of
but-
creepy.
It just
Yeah.
seems to be weird. Just this detective comes
And
into this
then-
town and there's weird spooky cult stuff.
Two
Yeah.
spooks for me.
So we'll have those reviews next week, and then I think after that you've got Crimson Peak review to look forward to, which is one of the bigger films of this year that I've been
We'll
most
spend some time on
anticipated
that, I'm
for.
sure.
So we
Hopefully
could we could spend a good chunk of our
Depends what else we're going
podcast
to
in 2
review.
weeks.
If we want to do
Or
more
not.
reviews, I think we want to fill up with more instead of just focusing on one. That's why we're excited right now with all these films
I
coming
think
out.
for the Crimson
October
Peak
is a
one,
great
what we could do, and I'm just throwing this out here. I know we should wrap up quickly, but we could do Crimson Peak and then talk about what our favourite Del Toro film is, possibly, or just discuss him, because I mean he's one of the
One of the
best
great visuals of our time.
visual horror directors of our time, and I
He's
say horror
fun.
even though he's actually not got a lot of horror movies out.
Oh no, like
per
his
se.
early stuff is all horror. Like his first.
Yeah, his early B movie stuff is horror, and they've become cult classics. But yeah, he's yeah.
I'd be fine with doing a special edition just on Del Toro.
Yeah, because Del Toro's one of the best directors out there right now. So I mean, I don't know.
On a side note as well, maybe if we somehow get in the beta for Battlefront, we can even talk about that.
It's open for everyone.
Is it open for everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to download it today, and yeah, in fact, we could do a little segment on that as well. So from me,
From
Kev.
Mr. Kev.
From Paul.
we
Paw.
bid
Yeah.
ye farewell.
Fare thee well.
Adios.